Would yours be Crypto Schwarzenegger .sol, or would it be
Could be.
Fruity Monkey Panda .sol?
Also an option. Yeah, revenue $7.9 million in a week. That's insane.
God bless your short, and I hope there is a retrace. Hashtag save Simon's bags.
It does affect the fundamental values we stand for in crypto.
My least favorite orange is signing my most favorite bill.
And even Ethereum is outperforming Sol right now. So keep that, let that sink in.
But like seeing the exact numbers of how much revenue and how much money they're printing.
So I've heard some voices in the communities that said, hey, this is our ChatGPT moment for crypto. Welcome to Soul Brothers with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to help you stay on top of the latest and greatest in Solana so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, it is extremely early for you. It is extremely late for me. What is going on today? I think we're both a little, the energy.
Yeah, it is what it is. It comes with working remotely in different time zones. Are you still in the US? Probably, right?
Yes, I'm still in the US, and I'm flying out to Korea in a few hours. So
yeah, and that's always
do this podcast a little earlier.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, the journey sucks. Like US to Korea, that's a long ass flight, isn't it?
Yes, it is a very long flight, and I got a very long drive to the airport as well. So not looking forward to that. But that's not why we're here.
Yeah.
Today we're here to talk about some of the latest and greatest developments on Solana. And man, we of course have to start with the coziest part of the podcast because the charts are looking pretty nice right now, Simon. So it
depends in which direction you're trading. So it highly depends if you're short or long right now. That's why you can never say the charts look good, because it always depends. Teaches you something about life as well. It always depends if something is good or bad. There's no such thing as good and evil. Anyway, I agree. We should look into the charts. We should start with the most coziest part of the pod. So if you don't mind, just click the button and share my screen, and I will give you guys a real quick deep dive into where we're at right now. I'm actually not going to zoom out all the way because I think everyone knows what's going on here in the midterm. We're coming out of this $95 bottom, right? And we're trying to push higher. Now, Bitcoin did an all-time high not too long ago, just last week, $123,000 last week's pod. We'd already told you guys that everyone was in profit that ever bought a Bitcoin in their life. Which is, it doesn't happen every day. So that was a big day. Now, while Bitcoin is making higher highs and looks extremely bullish, especially if you look at the weekly charts here for Bitcoin, this is pretty crazy. Like, this definitely looks like an up-only chart right now. Could be meme coin. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bitcoin. But for Solana on the other side, we're still hovering around these kind of mid-levels here, which is kind of weird. We want to see Solana printing all-time highs. And even Ethereum is outperforming Sol right now. So keep that, let that sink in. So Ethereum right now is coming here to the upper boundaries of $4,000. I'm pretty sure that these 4K levels provide some resistance for Ethereum. Now ETH usually leads the altcoin season, so we cannot neglect the influence of Ethereum and ETH towards Sol, right? So there is an effect as well. Now ETH is pumping, Sol is pumping. That looks pretty good. We are definitely in an up-only trend right now on the Sol chart as well. So when we look into the wave counts here, then I try to make a little bit of sense of what's happening to paint a way forward. What do you think? What are you laughing at, What are you laughing at now?
I just think that because you've built up these charts and these lines over time, right? Like, this isn't something that's been done overnight. And so, like, what I'm seeing is what looks like months, if not years worth of thought. And it's just like, it went from a blank chart to just like...
Yeah, you need to make some sense, right? Otherwise, what, like, obviously you can just look at the chart and gamble, right? I just hate gambling. So at least I need this reassurance that at least I put some thought in, even if it's only for me, even if I'm only pretending I would know, because obviously I do not know what the price is doing. But let me tell you, the price is moving according to Elliott waves right now, even though we're overshooting a little bit. So here's the deal. We bottomed in this second wave from this larger wave one that corrected after the $95 tariff low. We had a push to the upside. I counted as a wave one, and then we had a retrace. I counted as a wave two. Since this wave two, I believe we're in a wave three to the upside now, which is usually an impulse, and the impulse can be definitely seen here. And I broke this third wave down into another sub count, a 1, 2, 3, which we're in right now, 4 and 5. Now, basically, we're looking for the 4 right now. So we're looking for the retracement. Every time a chart pumps, especially a mature asset like Bitcoin, Solana, or Ethereum, every time a chart pumps, you can expect it to retrace at some point. Usually, a lot of people make the mistake of shorting too early, and then you don't underestimate the strength of Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum still when it comes to pumping. They can pump like a fucking unicorn, and we can see it right now. So we see the SOL chart right now really pushing higher and higher. There has not been a lower low formed anytime in this last push here. It's an up only chart right now, and in the sub count, I think right now we're topping out in the third wave here. We already overshot this 2.236 FIB level for wave 3 here, which is it's pretty much overbought. And even in the sub counts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can't really stretch much further here into a fifth wave without me having to change the whole structure, right? So if this structure is actually what's happening right now, then we do need to see sometime soon around the $190 level here, some sort of A and then a B and then a C to the downside. So a 3-wave move to the downside into a 4th wave, which can stretch, right? It can go over time. It can look a bit choppy, but we should see a deeper retrace than what we've seen before here. And it would be also healthy for the push, not going to lie. Like sometimes these retraces are healthy as well because they keep this overall structure alive, which is a bullish structure, right? We do want this to play out. We just need this little retrace here once in a while to then push higher into the 5th wave, go below the $200 level and so on. But yeah, there's still some way we need to make here on the chart. And I believe that we're still in the uptrend. We might see a little pullback anytime soon in the next hours or days, but the trend is up.
Well, you actually have other tabs. No, wait. No, go back. Oh no, Simon, you have other tab. No, you have other tabs that interest me. Bonk. So I want to get your TA on Bonk. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we've seen Bonk doing extremely well, right? Over the last days. I think we know why. Why do you think, Bonk is kind of really outperforming right now a lot of the other tokens?
Yeah. I
Maybe you
mean,
can
a
give
lot of
some
it has to do with narrative.
context.
And right. I think the biggest reason is narrative, but the narrative is mostly true. So what I
Mm,
mean by that is that the narrative surrounding Bonk is that they have a bunch of revenue generating businesses where their revenue goes into burning
yeah.
Bonk, and so therefore, Bonk is one of the only deflationary, meme
Mm,
coins out there. But
mm-hmm.
quite honestly, it's like not enough in fees right now to be like really significant buy pressure. Even
Mm-hmm.
though, I mean, it is in general like if Bonk just continues to do what they're doing as a team, like I could see one of these businesses becoming like a unicorn that just
Yeah.
spends like 50% of the revenue burning Bonk. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Yeah,
what
I
people
think
are excited about.
you got to experiment, right? The good thing is with the Bonk ecosystem, you have so many independent teams, right? That are building for it because Bonk had created this narrative around it where people can apply for grants or kind of start using Bonk. There's a lot of apps on Solana that incorporate Bonk into their application because they got some sort of benefit from that from the Bonk team, right? So Bonk is really actively trying to implement their token to as many venues as possible on Solana, and it's a numbers game, as you say, right? Like because you only need one of them to go really parabolic, and print fees, right, and burn Bonk or however Bonk is incorporated. Most times it is a deflationary scenario, like burning the token for some sort of business mechanic. But you only need one or two of this to go parabolic. So it's a numbers game. I think if enough people are building with it, and now we have the biggest, I think, chance is currently Let's Bonk. So the launch pad, and we're going to touch on this a little bit as well later. But yeah, I think that is one of the reasons why we see this huge pump here right now. Because Let's Bonk is making a lot of waves, and obviously it's timed really, really well with the recovery of Solana, because you probably wouldn't see this push if altcoins wouldn't pull up as well, right? So I think that's correlated for sure. I think this chart is pretty clean right now for me. I think we kind of bottomed in a level 2 or in a wave 2 down here in the macro view, right? So now I'm zoomed out, and now in this third wave. It needs to be a third wave because it is a very impulsive view here. Now, where can this bring us? I already drew the fib levels here. So right now we're actually at the most ideal. Where are we right now? Are we here? Okay. So we actually topped here at the most ideal retracement level for the wave 3, and now we're in this fourth wave correction here to the downside that you can see in the chart. We already touched on some of the ideal levels for this fourth wave. It could be it. In my experience, fourth waves, like the fourth wave, usually a little bit fucks with your ideas. So you can't really trust the fourth wave. That means that maybe you would assume now, oh, nice, we hit the 0.5, we're good, we're going up again in this fifth wave push, and you start longing here, and then, it stretches out and does one lower low here, liquidates you, and then goes up. That's usually what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen finally. But I think if you're swing trading, this might be important for you. If you're just holding onto your bonk, then all this is great because the trend is up, right? And it's going higher, and it's pretty confirmed that this 5 wave is gonna play out. And then you can see here that it will stretch a lot higher, right? Like this third wave here is going to complete at some point, probably around this 45 level here, and then we might see another retracement and then another push to the upside. But if you look at the overall chart here, we haven't reached the major resistances here from prior highs, right? So these are the first targets here for this first push here. Then we might see a little retrace and aim for the next highs here. So I think Bonk's one of the few meme tokens that really gives the assurances right now to people where they feel like they can hodl it, and it's not like a attention play where you have to get the fuck out tomorrow because otherwise it's going to be down only, right? Like there's really some conviction around Bonk, and I think we can attest to that just from the community voices that we can hear as Sol Brothers, right?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty beautiful way of putting it. They provide assurances that it's not going to go to zero, but they still provide you meme token upside, right? And then you could use essentially Doge as a benchmark for, like, hypothetically, well, if Bonk were to be at parity with Doge, then that would be a 10x, right?
Right. Yeah. So right now,
it's
where's the market cap sitting? It's 40 billion. Yeah, 40 billion for Dogecoin, and like
40 billion and about like about 8. Like 3.5 or
Let's say 3. Yeah, let's say 3. So more than 10x for Bonk, and I don't even know who the fuck's holding Doge these days.
Yeah.
But people are, crypto always. I just posted yesterday. You probably saw it. Wake up in the morning and crypto slaps you in the face. I'm quoting Meow here, but yeah, this is usually what happens. But these are the prices, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty wide out there because things are going up. But this is the time you should lock in. Keep in mind, bull markets are not the best times to trade, actually, for swing traders. It's easier to make money in bear markets because there's less volatility and less irrational, swings in the charts. So if you're swing trading this, then just pay attention. It's really easy to get caught in a short right now that doesn't, come to life as you wish because it's just too impulsive. Speaking out of experience. And I think that's something you should be really careful with right now, and maybe it's a good idea to hold and wait. Yeah,
I'm somewhat convinced that you opened a short like yesterday, and that it didn't play out well.
I mean, okay, between us, the thing is, I right now in these markets, my strategy is actually to wait for impulses So to
Yeah.
wait for pushes to the upside, because they always correct really quickly, and then
Mhm.
just use a medium to high leverage with a with like 1K collateral or something, and then take
Mhm.
profit early, because it's not gonna pull down far, but it's gonna pull down a
Mhm.
little bit. So what I usually do these days is I make like $200 ish profit per day with these little short openings, and that works out really
Sure.
well. But I made one big mistake, which is going short like far too early. Like it's been a few days now in a trade that I'm still waiting for the retrace. So the collateral is a bit higher, right? The leverage is not so high, so I have some room.
I see.
But it needs to go down at some point. Right now, Solana is like, every day. That's why every day I wake up in the morning and crypto slaps me in the face right now, because Solana decides every day to fucking print a new high. And I like printing highs, right? But I just want to close my fucking short. So guys, don't get caught up in these longer
I
trades.
I I
Don't bet
fucking knew
against the
it
trend.
because it was it's like Simon usually doesn't talk about like don't open shorts like too often, but you've said it like 3 times already since we've started the podcast.
Yeah, sorry for that. It's a bit of a personal
No,
topic right
it's
now,
fine.
but yeah.
And then you're like, there's no such thing as a good or bad. Like it all starts to make sense now. Well, God bless your short, and I hope there is a
Now you
retrace.
now you
Hashtag
know
save
the
Simon's
the
bags.
dealio. Exactly. Yeah, we'll make it, guys. But I'm much more curious to hear about some of the. I'm much more curious to hear about some of the news that come out of the fundamental camp, right? Like because there's some news that came out last week, even zooming
Yeah.
out of Solana, regarding the whole market. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. And one of these news, is the Genius Act. Are we able to give a little bit of background details to the Genius Act so people understand what the heck is happening here?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see in this photo, my least favorite orange is signing my most favorite bill. So this is a very weird universe to live in because I truly detest Donald Trump and basically everything about him. Um,
Huh.
but I think that this is probably one of the most impactful bills that will finally make the United States a leader in crypto, especially if we start adapting stablecoins at scale and in the same way that
Mm-hmm.
everyone has an LST now. Like, what if everyone has their own stablecoin? Banks, the U.S. government, different corporations, they're all, you know, easily swappable with a unified liquidity layer, just great infrastructure. I mean, first of all, it destroys the bank's businesses, a lot of them, anyways, because they won't be able to adapt as fast because they're hamstrung by a lot of regulations. So it's really interesting to see how this dynamic is going to play out because enabling stable coins. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Simon, what is this bill?
And we all know that you have your takes on Genius Act, because obviously you work in stablecoins, and you're
Yeah,
also an American
I fucked
citizen.
that up. I'm
You
so
grew
sorry,
up
man.
in the US. Uh, you're like, let me give my fucking take on the Genius Act. So here's the thing. So Genius Act is obviously, I mean, you already said it, right? It brings clarity when it comes to stablecoins. That's it, right? So I've heard some voices in the communities that said, hey, this is our Chat GPT moment for crypto. What does that mean? That means that it's the first crypto product that comes with clarity when it comes to institutional use and mainstream utility at the same time, right? Everyone can use it for payments, right? For holding your wealth. Fly to Argentina right now, and you're going to see that it's fairly normal to get paid in pesos and then transfer it into Tether and hold it in USDT, because USDT is their safe haven, believe it or not, which is wild. So there's mainstream adoption, but now the only part we needed was institutional clarity, and that's coming with the Genius Act. I want to say at this point as well, before going through some of the bullet points, what the Genius Act means and hearing out Eno's takes on it as well. I want to say that I take this with a grain of salt. I know this is reality, and I know the Genius Act is net positive for the crypto industry, but I also know that it opens the floodgate for banks and institutions and traditional players to come in, and it brings politics into crypto. And I knew this is going to happen as soon as crypto becomes more and more and more mainstream, right? We do need that at the same time. I also believe that it does affect the fundamental values we stand for in crypto, to an extent. and I don't want to deep dive into that topic too much, but I think you know what I mean. And I just think that
It,
we imagined a future of complete decentralization, permissionless protocols. It all started with the Ethereum camp back then, when it was like a real, the DeFi summer, starting with MakerDAO and so on. People were like, "Fuck yeah, we don't need any of these politicians. We don't need any of these banks. We don't need any of these. We're just gonna do our own shit here in the internet." With internet native money and internet native protocols, and no one can censor us, and we're just going to do whatever we want to do. Sounds great. Was a little bit of an utopia. Now we're here. Do you want to crash in with some thoughts on that, or should I give a few more context points to the Genius Act itself? Yeah,
I'd actually like to just explore that a little bit more with you. And I'd like more of your takes, but first, to flesh out the Genius Act a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
What makes it so important is that it formalizes and codifies language in the U.S. government for what is allowed for stablecoins. Can they be issued? Can they be accepted? What types of collateralization do they need to be? What do they need to be pegged to? Are yield-bearing stablecoins considered stablecoins? Like, these are all kind of different items that the Genius Act covers. But if you make stablecoins legal, and it's like they've been kind of de facto legal over the last few years, right? And when I say de facto, I just mean because there's no law saying explicitly that stablecoins are allowed. But at the same time, the U.S. government, with the exception of Paxos, wasn't suing any stablecoin issuers. But there, institutions and a lot of businesses won't be accepting stablecoins or consider using stablecoins as a part of their offerings, especially if they're super big, because like they can't take the legal risk of the government coming after them. And so that's my question to you, Simon, is that your concern that because the government and now institutions will be coming in, it will be, I mean, quite frankly, will probably at scale, I mean, probably be the main liquidity driver for stablecoins. Like whatever liquidity you've seen for stablecoins right now is just child's play compared to what like BlackRock and Bank of America and Chase, could put into stablecoins if they really wanted to. So is that your concern, or like what exactly is the concern with having? Let's
I don't have a
larger
my,
players.
my concern is. I wouldn't say my concern is even meaningful, honestly. It's more like a ethos driven thing. It's a gut feeling. It's really detached from reality. And I'm not really worried about my concern, even because I know that it's good for the market getting that liquidity in right now, because stablecoins are a great technology. They will help us to improve so many things, like payroll for companies, like automated payrolls where you can really fine tune the amount that gets sent in real time. You don't have to touch any accounting anymore. Accounting can be automated as fuck with programmed money, because you can program stablecoins. Remittance payments are going to be so much more efficient when it comes to cross-border payments. We already see that right now, but it will get more and more. So I think the benefits outweigh my gut feeling, which just is like this gut feeling of, I want us to be in our little, safe bubble here, tinkering. But I know that, I can't stay in there if I want the market to grow, right? So I'm pretty aware that I can't do that. So when I heard about the Genius Act overall, I had this gut feeling, but then I also had this really quick thought of, hey, this is great, because it gives clarity to stablecoins, and will bring more stablecoins into fluctuation, right? It might create more successful stablecoins besides USDC and Tether. I do think that Circle is, pretty well prepared for the Genius Act. I think they're checking every boxes, because there's one part of the Genius Act that says you are required to fully back your stablecoins one-to-one with high-quality liquid assets. So that includes a few things like insured bank deposits, money market funds, or just US dollar coins or US dollars, or short-term government bonds, and USDT. Tether currently falls outside of this. I do think though that Tether team has enough power to make this work. Let's put it that way. So am I worried about USDT? Not at all. That's just my take on it. I want to comment one more thing here when it comes to these issuers. I think there's going to be an insurgence of new issuers that are already here, like PayPal, but might be coming as well, like Stripe or other payment providers that are like, hey, I want to be part of this. So I think we're going to see some more competition in the stablecoin race coming forward when it comes to these issues as well. And we'll see more and more fintechs, traditional fintechs, jumping on the train because they're already kind of prepared for it. Like Revolut has crypto since 1, 2, 3 years, probably already somehow in their service. And I think in the US you have a Cash App or like these kind of some other apps as well. They're probably also either tinkering already with crypto or have some sort of crypto department in their company. So I think these guys are going to adopt stablecoins as much as possible as well. And the only players that are a little bit more fucked are actually banks. I think like old school banks, like, the banks, the big ones in US, the old ones in Germany that are still, fucking faxing instead of sending emails. So like these guys, they will probably have to do something because they are super slow to innovate. They're too big. There's too much bureaucracy, and they've been proven this over and over. There's no incentive for them really to take risks, or especially on all the employee levels, because they all get paid. They live their nice job. So, it's really difficult to innovate in these big banks. Also, it disrupts their own business model to have a stable coin because they usually make money by taking deposits or investing the deposits or pocketing the net interest margin on deposits. And now with stablecoins, they don't really have these deposits anymore. The stablecoin issuer pockets the money, right? So they need to become their own issuers, I guess. And this is then money they probably can't lend out anymore. So they can't, magically multiply anymore their deposits. Which they usually did before. So, like, long story short, however you twist and turn it, I think fintechs and some of these payment companies are benefiting from this Genius Act, and they will use stablecoins more and more. They will bring competition. I think banks are a bit fucked, but they'll, kind of find their way. I think banks will just exist for another 10, 20, 30 years because they're just really difficult to kill. The same with fucking post offices and email, right? There's still a bunch of post offices, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I think at some point they're probably going to die. But it just takes a few decades. Same with banks.
Yeah, I mean, and like everyone knows as well, like at least in America, the United States Postal Service (UPS) are huge drains on American taxpayers, right? Because it's a very expensive infrastructure, but at the same time, it's really hard to cut. And same with banks, like they're so ingrained in the fabric of how many people conduct their financial lives that, of course, they're going to maintain some level of presence, for the foreseeable future. But I do agree that stablecoins done right are a headshot to the banks. And I actually kind of feel, this sounds weird to say, but bad for them. And the reason why I feel bad for them is because I feel like there's so much red tape around what a bank is allowed to do that in order for them to survive, they need to take on risks that I don't think they're even allowed to take on. So I think that the Genius Act and the kind of the aftermath of it will result in the death of American banks. And I guess good for us. Yeah. And I've mentioned this before on previous versions of the pod, but if you're wondering like why the US government or some lawmakers are so invested in having the Genius Act pass, it's because what they envision, and this just makes sense because it's one of the most risk-free financial vehicles out there, all the collateralization for these stablecoins, or the most of them, is going to be US Treasury bills, right? Like that is the main motivation of the US government. Not only that, I mean, there's this other stuff that they talk about, like we want to be at the forefront of digital money transformation, right? Or like we want to further US dollar dominance. I actually think that one and that point is very important to the US government. But more specifically, I think, just practically speaking, one of the biggest holders of US Treasury bills are, Circle and Tether. Actually, Tether specifically, it's actually insane. They hold billions of dollars. They hold more U.S. Treasury bills than some countries, many countries, most countries. So
it is crazy. Already now, right? And we're not even widely adopted yet in the whole world, right? There's some big use cases for Tether, but we're still so early, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to zoom into Solana ecosystem because obviously today is more about Genius Egg. We wanted to double tap on that topic, but I do want to run through some exciting news on Sol as well. So, where do we begin? Do you have a topic for us? Some news out of the Solana ecosystem that you want to share with us?
Yeah, yes, sir. First thing first, our friends over at Metaplex have launched
Yes.
their own token launchpad.
Oh,
I know for a
how do you
fact that
call
they've
it?
been working on this.
How
Excuse
do you
me,
how do you
token
how do you
launchpad.
call it?
Did I not? Am I not allowed to? What?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know now anymore, but last time I talked to Metaplex, they didn't want it to be called a launch pad.
Okay,
Which
it's an
is
on-chain token offering.
exactly, it's a tool for on-chain token offering. It's an ICO protocol, whatever you want to call it. It's just not a launch pad. I think the thing is they don't want to put themselves next to Pump, Bonk, Studio, and so on. And
A
we
protocol
might,
for on-chain token
yeah.
launches. Come on, bro. Come on.
I
They
know, I
just they
know,
just
I
took
know.
out the word pad.
I know. So I quote, I think, I don't know who I'm quoting, but I'm quoting someone because it's in my show notes. Genesis is not a launchpad, it's a protocol for token launches. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the dealio, but it's just a branding thing, I think. I think this is the Genesis token offering protocol. It's a bit more serious than
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit more professional, right? So
Mm-hmm.
here it's quality over quantity again. It's similar to what we have been seeing on Solana in times of LFG, Jupiter LFG, if people remember that one, right? Basically, a premise, a tech stack that allows you to launch your token with the help of a provider that is deeply established on the Solana ecosystem and has the tech you need in terms of anti-snipe and bonding curves, airdrop curation and distribution and so on, right? They can do it all. Metaplex has been around for a long time. They're a very professional team. And we do have the first tokens that will launch using Metaplex Genesis, and those are, give it to the listeners, who's
Sure.
launching?
It's Pipe Network, Portals, DeFi Tuno, Shaga, Collector, Goaded, and Play Solana. This is the first cohort that will be
Yep,
launching
it's not bad.
their tokens on Metaplex's token offering service, not their
Platform.
token launchpad. Yes, platform.
Yep. Let's see. I like, I like experimentation always. And I think, I do think we need a fucking protocol that does token launches, right? That is
Yeah.
not a meme coin launchpad, right? So looking forward to see some of these first launches and also looking forward to support Metaplex with my own capabilities because I'm working to an extent with the team as well. So let's see how that goes. But bullish on Metaplex and also bullish on Bitcoin on Solana, Oopala. I even kicked my mic right now. So what are we looking at?
Yeah. So this has been in the works for quite some time. There's this protocol called Zeus, and Zeus's mission is to bring Bitcoin onto Solana. They're not like bridging BTC. They literally rebuilt BTC on Solana. I don't quite understand how the tech works, but they are very insistent on that. Is that they literally rebuilt Bitcoin on Solana. And they have this new liquid restaking token, not to be confused with the liquid staking token. But this restaking token, LRT, is essentially a vault where you can deposit Marinade Sol or regular Sol. And that goes into the yield from Marinade Sol or from the Sol that you've put into the vault will be turned into BTC.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. ZBTC.
Yep.
ZBTC.
Yes. So yeah, I think it's a pretty cool product because all it does for you guys is it gives you Bitcoin exposure on Solana. If you want to hold Solana because you're bullish on Sol, but you also want some BTC exposure, but you don't want to buy BTC anywhere, just use Apollo, right? So yeah, pretty cool. Check it out. Our friends from Zeus are basically the builders behind that, but the company is called, or the project is called Apollo, who launched this product. And yeah, also a little soft chill for myself. Make sure you do it with a Solana ID because you get 200% more APY, so 2x if you have a Solana ID. yeah,
Right.
I think it's going live today. The benefit for users. We made a snapshot last Friday, so everyone who had a
Yeah,
Solana ID last Friday, they get it.
I see that there's a couple of partners that are getting 200% boost. I didn't realize that Solana ID, yes, priority pass holders, will be getting a
Mm-hmm.
200% boost on all
Yep.
their ZPTC rewards. So that is
Yep.
awesome. Thank you very much for that, Simon.
Of course, of course. That's what we do. Perks on chain.
Yes.
Do we have more news from the Sol ecosystem? Anything else
Oh
that we
yeah, we
wanna?
have too much news from the Solana ecosystem. But Superteam Singapore, look, this is starting to get a little excessive, but they are already working on season 4 of the Ignition Week, and it's crazy because they've already done 4. It's like 1 each quarter, so I'm starting to question whether or not these are being done too frequently, but at the same time, I see the justification for them. They're very, very popular. So I'm not quite so sure what you think about them, but like this post, it's like crazy. It's like over 140,000
Wow.
views, 300 likes. Like clearly people love the Ignition Week. So
Damn.
yeah, I don't know. What are your takes on this?
Congrats, Nick, first of all, and Kimmy, the guys who are running the show. I just have still an open DM from him as well right now because I need your help. I want to go to Korea Blockchain Week, but it overlaps with the startup village in Singapore. So now my mind is like, I don't know what to do. So I think I'm going to go to KBW and then fly over to Singapore for like the end of the startup village, which is not Ignition
Sure.
Week, ladies and gentlemen. Startup village is, it's just a gathering of founders co-living and co-working together in Singapore before Solana Apex and Token 2049 end of
Yeah.
September, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm probably going to skip a little bit of the first part to be able to attend KBW and then come down to Singapore for like the end of the startup village and the beginning of Apex, Solana Apex.
I've done a lot of research into different podcast rooms over in Korea. So by the way, we're getting an upgrade. It's going to be a lot of fun recording in those studios.
Let's go. Okay, guys, you can get ready for some content with the Brothers United when it's time for KBW in September, if I'm not mistaken, at least. Latest then, but probably even before because we're going to maybe see each other in Japan or where the fuck ever. But anyway, long story short, Ignition Week is really bullish. I have a few friends that did the Ignition Week 3. And it was very successful. One of my friends flew out to San Francisco because he won the Colosseum Hackathon. Obviously, not only because of the Ignition Week, but I guess it was one of the things that helped him to get there. I think it's truly valuable. So you should apply for Singapore Ignition Week and try to get in there. And I think the frequency can't be high enough. End of story.
Speaking of which, things that we can't get enough of. We want to talk about the Jupiverse and all of the amazing updates over there. Last week, we covered the Q2 token holder update, which gave you all the growth and performance metrics for everything in the Jupiverse. I think everyone already knows that Jupiter is crushing it, but like seeing the exact numbers of how much revenue and how much money they're printing, as well as how much usage of their protocol that they get is very reassuring. But aside from that, we have some other news from the Jupiverse that I thought was really, really interesting. Do you remember their JLP loans product that they had announced in Catstanbul?
Yep, and it came. It's here, and it's already fucking full. Within 24 hours, the JLP loans launch of the USDC allocated for the launch was borrowed, with more incoming next week. So that's the news that I got. I don't know if you have more, but I think, JLP loans have been successful so far. What is it? Basically, you can just take USDC against your JLP. So you don't have to sell your JLP. You get some liquidity in USDC. JLP obviously is the exchange token of Jupiter ecosystem. So all the revenues or part of the revenues from the perpetual exchange, which is the biggest revenue driver of Jupiter, are channeled back into JLP. And that's why JLP is performing really well. And it's a good token to hold and hodl and just wait.
Yeah. And this will be additional revenue for JLP token holders. It's already a very attractive token to hold because all of the fees, or not all, but a vast majority of the fees earned from Jupiter Perps are pumped back into JLP. One other thing that's really interesting to note is that this sounded so ChatGPT. One thing that's interesting to note is that I think I forgot how much exactly, but it's like almost like 500 million in stablecoins that are just not being used in um, their perps product because nobody wants to short right now. And so like that's
Hmm.
why it makes a lot of sense to loan out their USDC because yeah, exactly. Like only people like
I'm
Simon
gonna
are
do it,
opening
guys.
shorts.
I got you. Damn. JLP printed an all-time high as well, by the way. For everyone who doesn't know, $5. So JLP is right now more expensive than ever, which is good for
Yeah,
holders because everyone is in profit. So yeah, JLP is performing really well. Might be one of the
yeah,
reasons, obviously the pump, but also the JLP loan thing might be a factor in here. Cool.
absolutely. Um, I think one other thing that I'd love to cover is that um, dev tokens tab over in Jupiter Pro,
Oof.
shows you all the tokens that a wallet has ever launched. So
Hell
like
yeah.
you can get a sense of like whether or not a particular develop. I hate how loosely we use the word developer now. Like it used to mean something, and now it's just
It's
like
just a
everybody's a
term.
dev.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's just a term. It's like the meme era has some terms that you just have to accept the way they are, I guess.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of features coming out of the Superverse at all times. And of course, we want to give a shout out to our friends over at SNS. This is more ETH related, so I don't know if you can maybe give us a little bit more color here, Simon. Do you know exactly what's going on with webhash_ETH? Like I've never heard of that protocol before.
I actually don't know. I'm sorry. I have to
I see.
let you down here
I totally
on this. I'm
I
not.
put you on the spot. I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
So webhash.com is a permissionless network ensuring websites sites say a permissionless network ensuring websites stay live forever. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so it's like a permanent website for. I guess it must be like some persistent server tech where
Hmm.
like everybody has to keep the website live. Okay, and
Interesting.
what they're saying is that webhash.eth underscore eth now supports .sol names, so you can launch a website on your name .sol. Okay, that is pretty cool. That
Uh,
is really really cool. Like so, for example, you like I own Eno.sol, so I
hmm.
love the idea of being able to launch my own Eno.sol
Oh yeah,
website.
that's
Like
cool.
that is
Okay, that's actually really cool. Yeah.
absolutely what I would want my personal website
Mm-hmm.
domain name to be. Eno.sol? Fuck yeah, that is cool.
Mm-hmm. 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 I like that. Yeah, that's
What
very cool.
would yours be Crypto Schwarzenegger.sol or would
That's
it
all.
be
Yeah, could be.
Fruity Monkey Panda.sol?
Also an option. I think I made sure that I at least own one actual proper domain, like Simon Monitor or some shit. Like I do have these as well. Um, but I think also Simul. I have Simul.so. Not Simon, but Simul.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
last name, first name combo handle. So
right.
yeah, it's a cool feature, not gonna lie.
That's actually fucking sick. I want to play with this and create my own
Yep.
website using my .sol. That is cool.
Yep.
And the other thing that happened a couple of days ago is there was a SNS Poker Night tournament over on the Discord server. We normally don't share news like this, but the reason why I really wanted to share this was I haven't really seen this before. Like this type of community building exercise where it's like, yeah, like let's just hang out. And like
Yeah,
sure there's
that's
money
really cool.
involved and stuff like that, but like I think these like little moments are really nice and important.
Yep. Yeah, it's fun. SNS is doing a good job at creating a good community.
Yeah.
That's
And I
true.
think the last thing that we wanted to cover is that Bonk Fun has surpassed all other launch pads in revenue
Yes.
for this week. So it's an all-time high for revenue for Let's Bonk, and that's like about $8 million for just this week. It surpassed
Mm,
Pump and all other platforms combined. So I'm pretty
mm.
pretty stoked for the team.
Yeah, it's crazy. 1,200 tokens that graduated. Not bad from
Yeah,
bonk.fun. And
right, right.
yeah, revenue $7.9 million in a week.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's insane.
Um,
All this money. That's crazy. That's crazy.
if
But
you
it's
had
good
all this
because if
money,
Bonk
would
is doing
you?
it, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me. What do I do?
No. I was just wondering. It's yeah. Bonk has just done such a great job, not only at creating revenue generating businesses, but also capturing the narrative as the deflationary dog token, right?
Yep,
It's one
yep.
thing to talk about. Um, it's one thing to talk about, like, hey, we're going to generate revenue, and it's another thing to like actually do buybacks properly. So I don't know. I'm just very proud of the Bonk team.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's going well, and I wish them more success like this because I think it's good for Sol. And you guys gonna see how good it is. Let's just keep pressing forward, Bonk. Let's
Yes.
Bonk. We should be sponsored by Bonk, by the way.
We should. I mean,
we're
like,
too we're too bullish.
yeah. We're
Yeah,
too bullish on Bonk, I think.
yeah.
But it is true. Before we go, we do have a giveaway. But is there anything else that you want to talk about, Simon?
I think I want to do the giveaway. That is the last thing I want to do for today here.
Yeah, for sure.
How do we do it?
So, yes, we have this QR code. It's a thank you from SNS, and there's 10 domains that are up for grabs. There's 3 conditions for this domain name. Number 1, you need to be an existing .sol holder. So if you don't hold a .sol domain, then you're going to want to purchase one. They currently have .sol domains up for grabs for like $1, super cheap. And this QR code gives you access to a domain that's at least 5 characters in length, which is still quite short, and in any language. So, depending on how many people claim this QR code, I might even just share this in a couple of private chats or anything. So feel free to share this with anybody as a thank you from SNS. So thank you very much, Ohm and the rest of the team, Christian, Nova Ninja, Celine. There's a bunch of folks over at SNS that have been very supportive of the pod, and we really appreciate their willingness to engage with the community with us.
Yep. And 5 character domains are not cheap, by the way. So this is this is big. You should get it. If you don't get it, I get it. 10 domains up for grabs. All you have to do is scan the QR code, and you can whatever you want, 5 characters or more, and it's yours for free.
Yes.
That's
okay.
crazy.
Well, we're going to see how many people claim this QR, and based on that, might be sharing this QR later. But that is it for this week. We obviously kind of sped walk through this week's podcast just because of the timing of the podcast this week has been a little rough. But Simon, I mean, what can people look forward to with Soul Brothers going forward?
Endless content. We're a content super house. We're gonna print content basically. That's what we're doing at Soul Brothers. I mean, I love the show. I love the weekly. It's gonna, we're gonna go through some iterations. It might change a little bit here and there, the way we do this weekly show on Soul Brothers, but it will exist. So if you enjoy the long form content and if you enjoy these updates, then make either sure to listen on them on podcast, check them out on YouTube. We upload the long form with visual, every single week on YouTube. And also make sure to consider joining the live stream because we're here live right now. We have some people that are tuning into this live that get all these details firsthand. So that's also great. But we want to do even more of these things. We have a great team behind us. Eno and myself are not the only people running this company. Obviously we're just the faces, we're just the yappers. But we do have actual talented people that do have skills, and these people are in the back and they do all the amazing cutting and the social media management and so on and the preparation for the show. And I think we can do more different content. That's what we want to do more of. We want to do more different content than only these long forms, more short clips, other social media channels and so on. So guys, I'm stopping here because there's too much that we have on our minds, but we're cooking, and you can prepare yourself for more of everything and more good content from the Soul Brothers. And for this week, this is it. I would say thank you so much for tuning in again for yet another podcast EP, and we'll see you at the next one or somewhere in the metaverse, somewhere on Telegram, Twitter, or wherever the fuck you follow the Soul Brothers. We are there for you. See you then. Thank you so much for listening to us, and see you at the next one.
Adios. Bye.